Hello my friends, Corrine here from Corrine Crafts. I hope you are well. I hope you've been having a good weekend, and I hope if you wanted to, you've got lots of crafting done too. Now I just want to quickly show you the card we're going to make today. There we go, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Just a sort of clean and simple gorgeous card, but we're going to make the background, we're going to do the lovely gold ring, and I'm going to show you how I made that, including that gorgeous butterfly. So yeah, bit of a clean and simple looking card today, and yeah, let's have a look at how it's made. This is another project that I had in my head as an idea, and you never actually know how it's going to turn out. So the first thing I've done is I've got a piece of card 4.5 inches by 6 inches. You can tell glitter flakes are floating about, so I think that gives you a clue of what's going to happen in a bit. So that's my first piece of card, and it's just a piece of multi-purpose card. And then I found one of my funky fossil stamps. So it's like a script background. It goes like that, I think. And it's one that I've not used before, but I really, really like it. I think it just makes a lovely little bit of background, on, you know, for your stamp. So what I'm going to do, put my card onto a stamping mat, and then I've got my stamp just here. And I have to remember, I think it goes that way up. So what I've got is I've got 3 ink pads. There we go. So this is sort of my colour palette. So I've got my lavender, ice, crushed velvet and fuchsia. So you could be using any ink pads that you want. Any type, but I just like water reactive ink pads, or you know, or your oxides or anything like that. So I'm going to stamp with the light purple first. I'll go back in with some, then I'm going to lightly tap, I have to come on a bit more, with my darker purple. Now I can see it's gone a bit too high up there, so I'm just going to put the lighter one on and sort of blend that out. I don't want harsh lines. Then I'm going to come down here at the bottom, I think you know where I'm going, with my pink, my cerise colour, fuchsia they call it. So I'm just trying to sort of a kind of ombre. It's not a true ombre because it's sort of not like your darker and your lighter. It's right, I'm trying to get it sort of averaging them out a little bit better. But you can just play around like this until you've got them. But the most important thing, I think, is not to sort of have harsh lines. So I've got my inks on there. I'm going to turn my paper round. So I know that this fits roughly, so if I put the runners to each side, it fits in the middle. I've just paced it out. So I'm going to put it up a little bit towards, higher to the top than in the centre. So I'm just going to pop that there, and then I'm just going to roll and rock that just a couple of times on like that. And I love that. Isn't that a fantastic effect? It just sort of, you know, just sort of fades and ombres. You got the light purple, the darker purple, and then into the pink. And that just shows if you just give it a couple of minutes playing around with your inks, you can get a fantastic effect. Now that's all I'm going to do for the background, nothing else. Really, really simple. So the next bit I want to do is I want to put it onto my card base. So I've got my card base here, and this was a card base for a 7-inch envelope, which I've trimmed down, and I'm going to first put on a piece of purple card. It's got a little bit of a pearlescence about it. I just found it in my scrappy pile. So because it's got pearlescence, I'm going to stick with tacky glue. We're not going to go in with a solvent based glue. A bit dirty on that side, like I say, it's just come out my scrap box. Let's move that mat out of the way because I really don't want to get glue on it. And then we can pop this on. There we go. Just like that. Don't worry if a little bit of tacky glue oozes out. Really won't hurt because you can just wipe it off at the end. Just making sure I've got that centred. There we go. If you've got a cloth, you can always just give it a rub like that. Now the next one I've got is some gold card, and being, you know, frugal as we like to, this is going to be a matte layer that you're not going to see. So I have just put 2 circle dies together and I've cut them out. So that's going to give me, so this piece is just a scrap piece, so you can see the 2 circle dies just like that, look, and it's given me a lovely frame. We're going to use that in a minute, but I just thought, oh, that'll save me cutting another piece of my gold. And again, this was gold from something I made last week, I think. because it was still, I hadn't even reached my scrap pile. It was still on the side. So we can put that onto there. I can see a little bit of marks on this. There we go. This is why I like tacky glue, because you can move things around if you don't get it in the right place straight away. There we go. So we've got our 2 on there. Remember, as I always do, if you want to, you can always use your stamping tool to put that on. Okay, so the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to get my card with my purple bit on, and that now, yeah, I'm going to go flat. I'm going to keep it flat. This is not quite a clean and simple card, but it's sort of that clean and simple idea. So we're not going to go over fussy, and it's so quick. I just thought, oh, Sunday, we just need something nice and simple to start, well, to finish off the weekend. So this is what we're doing. It isn't going to take too long at all. So we can put that like that. You know me, I always like a good tent fold card. Now, this is going to come onto here. Again, not on the centre. We're going to put it off centre, but I'm not going to stick it down just yet. What I am going to do, got my stamping platform, and I'm just going to pop that over the top. I'm going to push that out of the way up there, and I'm going to get something heavy. Let's use my spritz bottle and put that, let's put that and the glue on. There we go. Right, so they're going to hold nicely while we do the next bit. So the next bit is a piece of watercolour card. So I'm going to grab a mat. Let's try and be a little bit careful. So the first thing I might want to do, oh, I need to come up a lot further. I'm going to have to move that out of the way, otherwise I can't get back in focus. There we go. Right, that's much better. There we are. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my spray, and I'm just going to give it a light mist and just sort of pat that down. Just make sure the card's a little bit. I just find if we do that, it will take the colours a little bit better. So once we've got that there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my fuchsia, and I need the smallest amount, and I'm just going to wet that, and then I'm going to pick up little bits. I did one in prep, and I think I did too much ink on it, but look at that tiny little bit of ink has gone all that way. And then I need to dry that off. It's important to dry it off before I go in with my other colour. So I've got my heat gun, bear with me, I'll be right back. So put the fuchsia on. Fuchsia's quite a dominant colour, isn't it? So we just need to be careful with how much we use. Then I'm going to come in with my crushed velvet. So we're using the same colours here as we've done on that background, so that means that everything's going to work together. Then I'm just going to pick this up. We're not going to use a fraction of this piece of card, but I just find it easier to work with, and I'll show you. When I did one in prep, I was actually able to then do something else with what's left over. So I'm just going to dry that. I've got a lot more white on this one, which I think is going to work really well. So now I've got that ready, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do a little bit of gilding on it. It wasn't in my plan, but when I prepped my prep one, I had a few little bits of gilding flakes on my desk, and they picked up, and I thought, oh, I like how that looks. So all I've got is I've got a little makeup sponge, I've got some gilding flakes, and I've got my tacky glue. Now, the one thing I learned when I was doing this in prep is when you're doing it with tacky glue and you're only using a little bit, it dries very, very quickly. So you almost have to do it a little bit at a time. So let's just put a little bit of tacky glue on there. Then we're going to pick it up, and we're just going to pop a little bit there, a little bit there. Then I'm going to get some gilding flakes and put them on. Right, just remember, this isn't, just trust the process. I'm just going to put them on for a minute and let them sort of dry down a bit. Let's just put a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. Right, and then just put a little bit of gilding flakes on. We're going to go really light by the time we've finished. It's just to give it that hint of gold. Let's put a little bit here. There. I'm just going to do a couple at a time, because when I was prepping it, like I say, it was drying far too quick. I think it's quite warm in my craft room tonight as well. Let's put that. I can see that's going dry. Right, I'm only going to do that much because we're really not going to need much more. And then, oops, you see, you just need to leave it to dry. Because it's tacky glue, it's not real. I've not really used the right glue for gilding flakes, but it works. So once you've done that, we just sort of leave it to dry, and then we can just rub off the excess. Like I say, all I'm trying to do is get that little bit of gilding, and you'll see why in a minute. But don't worry, if we've not got enough, we can add a little bit more on afterwards. Right, those are a bit heavier than what I thought, but we can make it work, don't worry. So let's just take that out. I'm not finished with my gilding flakes just yet. So all I wanted then is, oh, there we go, is I've got my duo dies. You know me, once I get hold of a die, they tend to be used quite a lot, don't they? So I'm just going to grab, I'm going to lay this over where I've got quite a nice lot of gold. Now, like I said, I made it a bit bigger before, and then I was able to do some other bits, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so let's cut that out. Right, there we are. So let's see how this is cut out. Poke it up. There we go. And look at that. Can you just see how it's now just picked up little bits? Now, I love having some white on as well. I love the contrast. But what you can do is you can get your quickie glue pen, and then you can just tap the glue all the way down. Remember, it always comes out better if you sort of tap. Then we're going to come round here where his head is. Once the glue's out, you can spread it round, and a little bit down there, and then we'll just tap it all the way down his body. Then you just need to give it a little bit of time. Now, if you feel like you've not got enough gilding flakes on, you can just sort of come in with your tacky glue pen and just put a few more little bits on. You see, already I've forgotten where I've done. There we go. Right, just give that a second. There we are, right. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and pick up some of these bits that are all over my desk. I'm just going to lay some gilding flakes down using the lid just to try and contain it a little bit, because you know my gilding flakes seem to go everywhere. When you put gilding flakes on, you always think, oh my goodness me, what has she done? She's just piled those on, but it works. It'll stick to the glue and only to the glue. So you just need to pop that on, pat them down. Remember, you can go in again if it's not worked quite right. Get rid of that big flake off my finger. And then all you need to do is brush it off. See there, right? It's stuck to where I put the glue, look. There we go. Now, you often get this, if you've got edges, you just run your sponge. Now, if you buy gilding flakes, you'll often get these little sponges with them. But if you haven't got one, just any sponge you've got. It needs to be a little bit rough, you know, a little baby bath sponge cut down, or one of your green scoury ones that you have for the washing up. Anything like that will do. Now, look at that. I love, love, love that. Right, now, on my practice one, I'll show you what I did, but I might not do that with this. I'm gonna just have a look. We're gonna be able to do a compare and contrast. I don't know which one we're gonna use yet. Oh, gilding flakes. Oh, look what I've just done. Let me just clear up. I'm right back. Okay, we're gonna bring that back now. You know what? When I was on TV doing my demonstrating, and they used to say to me, oh, you've got a show with gilding flakes, I used to inwardly groan and think, oh my goodness me, what mess am I gonna get into today? And there's me now, voluntarily using gilding flakes. How life's changed. Right, okay, so here we have our card base. It feels nice and firm because it's just had the platform on it for 5 minutes. Now the glue has set. Yeah, it's feeling wonderful. So what we need to do is bring back in that gold circle. We can put that there. And the other thing I did was I cut using this die here. I cut the foliage out of white, but then when it came out, I just snipped it in half. It was too big. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to pop it under here. And then the other thing I did was I used this really lovely, dainty flourish. I've just cut off the bottom bit of it. So I'm just going to use that as well, because I think that could... It almost looks like one of those frames that you buy that has been elongated. So I'm just going to have a play around. What I'm trying to do is put that there. And then, does that want to go that way? No, I want this on this side. I definitely want it on this side. That wants to go there. This is why it's really good to do your sort of placement first. This wants to come somewhere around here. And then, so that's all right. Now I just need to adjust that. When I glue it down, I can. There we go. So I'm just going to glue them like that. So then, all I want to do then is put my butterfly on. Now, I still haven't decided whether that look, because there's so much happening in the background and my butterfly's open, I think it's not quite right. So I'll show you the one I made before. So here's the one, and all I've done is I put a piece of purple card on. I stuck it to a piece of purple, and then I cut it with my scissors at an angle so that I undercut it. At the back, it doesn't look pretty. It's a bit rough and ready. You just turn your scissors around like that. I was just seeing that there's a couple of little bits like that. Just undercut, just like that. I didn't put it behind the antennae or the bottom of the body because that just makes it harder for me to trim. Now, I've got that one. You see, I think that looks better. I know it's heavier, but it's better because it blocks out the background, doesn't it? Okay, so that's what I think we're going to use. So I'm just going to stick these down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my precision glue gun. Oh, there it is. And I'm going to pop it all the way just around here. Just a tiny bit of glue around here. And then I think what I'll also do is I'm going to stick this across here, just like that. And then I'm going to stick that to there. There we go. So I can now just put a little bit of extra glue on the back of here. I'm not going to stick that down too tightly. And then I'm just going to trim that bit. There. So now I can pop that down. Just, I want that to come over a bit. I want it off centre. If you're not going to have it exactly centre, then it needs to come off centre. There we go. You've got to trust the process. It's gonna look amazing. So I'm going to get my butterfly, and I can really shape this one because it's got that backing on. Let's just give that a lovely shape. Right, and that will then glue onto there. But I want to show you, when I made my demo practice one, I had plenty of left over. So if you wanted to, you know what, I like that flower. I just made a lovely flower. I think that might be a little bit heavy, but if you've got some nice flower dies, oh, I can see glue on my gold. Let's see if I can get that off. There we go. If you've got some nice flower dies, perhaps you could do that. I think that one's a little bit heavy. I'll keep it. I might make a project quite quickly with that one, but now I'm going to go back to my butterfly. So yeah, it was a decision I hadn't made, but I knew it would all come right when I was ready. So let's just, that glue didn't, I put that there because it was blocked. I wanted this one. I think it's the nozzle on the end. These nozzles are better airtight, so it holds it better. So let's just put that over there. And then all I've done next is, from a sentiment set, I have just cut myself up, stamped and cut, happy and birthday. So it's just from my Crafter's Companion Simply Sentiments, but I'm sure you've got plenty. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put happy there, and then I think I might straddle that one over there. So let's use this one. You could use foam pads for this, but I'm just being lazy. I'll put that one on here. So it's a sort of clean and simple-ish, isn't it? It's about as clean and simple as you see me ever do. But I do like it. So we're going to straddle, break that. It's quite nice because we've broken the circle up that side, so we're going to break the circle down that side as well. Okay, and then the final little thing I'm going to do, you know me, I like a couple of gems. Let's see if I've got something. Let's just put them onto here. These are just your dewdrop ones, but they're dewdrop ones without glue on the back. Come on, they're all the big ones. I want some of the smaller ones. Oh, should have got a container to put them in, and I didn't. So all I'm going to do is, with my precision glue gun, I'm going to just pop two. Let's start with 3, And then I can pick a couple of these up, put them on. If I've got a smaller one, just there, just turn that round. There we go. To which size do I want? I want that one. I could see one and I just knew that's what I wanted. There you go. Now, if you wanted to, you could have, I'm just going to move those gently out of the way. Nearly did it then. What you could have done is maybe find some gold ones. That would have also looked nice. So let's just make sure the wings of my butterfly are lifted. There we go. So how about that? I just love that. It's just all about having a play, a little bit of background, sort of ombre down, gilding my butterfly, putting a nice simple sentiment on, and that is all I would do. What do you think? I like that. That's really pretty, isn't it? Something a little bit different today. I wanted, you know, I always like to try and make the next card different to the last card and all the rest of it. But yeah, I'm really, really pleased with that. I like that very much. So I hope you do too. As always, don't forget, I've got all my links down in the bottom. So if you want to click on any of the links, that would be wonderful. But if not otherwise, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of the project. And of course, if you have a go, I'd love to see what you make. So until next time, my friend, you take care. Enjoy your crafting. And I'll speak to you soon, very soon. Bye for now.